Play to win your share of $1 million every week this football season at DraftKings.com. With 1 Week Fantasy at DraftKings, you can play when you want with a team you want. Just pick your contest, pick your team, and pick up your winnings. Hurry to DraftKings.com now. Use code PARDON and play for free with your first deposit in Sunday's $1 million fantasy contest. This isn't fantasy as usual. This is DraftKings. Welcome to the big time. Enter PARDON for free entry now only at DraftKings.com. That's DraftKings.com.
The Pirates and Cardinals have the best 2 records in baseball, and they go head-to-head one final time this regular season. Could this be a preview of next week's division series? Coverage begins Wednesday at 6:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
Pardon interruption, but I'm Jason Whitlock. Hey, Tony, a new study says a majority of people believe there are aliens in the universe.
I'm Tony Kornheiser. I've always sensed there are creatures crawling around Uranus. Nothing but laughs. This is funny. You know, thank God Wilbon isn't here. Because Wilbon would have said, "Oh, I'm not doing that." That doesn't work.
At anything, though.
You know, but that's funny. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. Wilbon has a day off. I am joined by our great friend from ESPN.com, Big Sexy, Jason Whitlock.
This suit
Very nice conservative suit. Doesn't look like it pops at all. And we begin today with tonight's NFL game in the Meadowlands. The Washington Redskins, off a surprising victory over St. Louis, go north on I-95 to play the 0-2 New York Football Giants. The Giants have blown double-digit leads in the second halves of both of their games so far. Only 2% of all NFL teams since 1990 that started 0-3 have made the playoffs. So, Jason, is this a must-win for the Giants?
No, I don't see it as a must-win for the Giants because this is who Tom Coughlin's New York Giants are. They're never that good during the regular season, even in their Super Bowl years. They're wild card teams.
They're wild cards.
That struggle during the course of the season, and there's questions about Tom Coughlin and his leadership, and then they put it all together and get a nice streak at the end of the year. So I'm not surprised. They've lost to Dallas and Atlanta, teams with Dallas previously had a good quarterback in Tony Romo, and Atlanta has Matt Ryan and an improved defense. So I'm not shocked that they're 0-2. And it wouldn't, if they lose, it wouldn't surprise me if they rallied somehow at the end of the season and still ended up qualifying for the playoffs.
I also don't think it's critical, but for a different reason than yours. That division is so terrible that 7-9 is going to win it. The Eagles are the most disappointing team in the NFL so far. The Redskins aren't very good. The Giants are terrible most of the time. And Dallas has just lost every single person that can stand in the end zone and hold the ball up.
I just heard Ryder Staubach got hurt.
So what I'm saying is that 0-3 doesn't kill you. In the NFC West it would, you know, but in the NFC East it doesn't. I will say this about the Redskins. I was stunned last week when they beat St. Louis. The way they lost to Miami and then St. Louis coming in after beating Seattle, I thought they lose those. I thought they'd go to New York and lose. Come home against Philadelphia and lose. They're 0-4, and they have a quarterback change. They dominated both lines of scrimmage last week. They were really good.
Nothing about the NFL surprised me, particularly early in the season. And you're talking to a guy that spent the first week in the NFL season out in Las Vegas, proving that I know nothing about what's going to happen. So, listen, it won't be until around Thanksgiving when things have settled down, when we can decide who the good and bad teams are. So anything's a possibility tonight. It's Thursday night football. The only thing we're guaranteed of, it's going to be a sloppy mess and a bad game that'll be decided late.
But if
by
the Giants, a team that's very good against the run, and that's Washington's strength, the run, if the Giants stop that and Kirk Cousins has to win the game, we've seen that movie a couple of times before. Though he was really good against St. Louis. He really was.
All right, Tony, Ohio State coach Urban Meyer is sticking with Cardale Jones as his starting quarterback. Meyer said backup J.T. Barrett hasn't done enough to unseat Jones. Both quarterbacks have struggled, as has, as Meyer pointed out, the entire Ohio State offense. The Buckeyes are 3-0 and face another Mid-American Conference foe, Western Michigan, this weekend. Did Meyer make the right decision?
I want to tread lightly here because I appreciate where you went to school. At Ball State, and I appreciate the conference that they're in, the MAC.
Playing Northwestern.
I just want to say this is Western Michigan. It's not Michigan. I understand that Toledo beat Arkansas, and I understand Northern Illinois is in it till the end with Ohio State. But if you're the presumptive #1 team in the country and the best team in the country, as was totally declared after the first game, then you're supposed to beat a MAC team. And to me, you put Cardale Jones in there to get healthy, to throw a bunch of touchdown passes so there's no doubt as to who's the starting quarterback. And if he doesn't do that, then before the Big Ten season actually starts, then you pull him and you make switch.
Absolutely. They have a chance right now to rehabilitate Cardale Jones' confidence if it's lacking at all. Although, I'm going to say this, and I say this and I'll say Western Michigan is a talented team. They've underperformed. They played Michigan State pretty well at home to start the season. Western Michigan has talent. Maybe more talent than Northern Illinois, which gave Ohio State a lot of problems.
In it till the end.
But they're not as well coached, in my opinion, as Rod Carey and that Northern Illinois program. So I expect Cardale Jones to do very well. I expect J.T. Barrett to also play in this game, though. I don't think he has to. I think Urban Meyer feels like he doesn't really have to make a decision at quarterback because he's had so much success winning anyway with any quarterback he throws out there.
Here's what I would say. I mean, I think we've been led to believe that one of the great strengths of Ohio State is wide receiver. Cardale Jones is a much better passer, right? I mean, if that's one of your strengths, then get a big kid, a pocket passer who can make those throws and see if you can get your offense to ignite. Even though I actually think that Urban Meyer's history would indicate he would not want that type of quarterback.
Their best quarterback and the guy that might be able to win the most games for him might be playing wide receiver, Braxton Miller, even though he can't throw. Just getting the ball into his hands, whether it's in the quarterback position, the H-back, wide receiver, they need to get him more touches, and that's Cardale Jones' job this weekend.
Shortly after losing to Ole Miss on Saturday, Alabama coach Nick Saban sent SEC officials a copy of a play he thinks they missed. Saban saw a clear case of a lineman blocking too far downfield on an Ole Miss pass play, a call that was not made. On that play, Ole Miss scored the clinching touchdown. Some people think this is whiny and sour grapes on Saban's part. Jason, to you.
I think this is standard operating procedure for football coaches. They know referees miss plays, which is standard operating procedure for them. Coaches send it in to the conference. Hey, look at this. They missed this. But because it's Nick Saban, because they had such a dynasty, and because it's Ole Miss and it looks like he's complaining and making excuses, it's getting blown out of proportion. But this is what coaches do every week. Whether it's the head coach at Ball State or the head coach at Alabama, they send in calls that were missed. I will say this, though. This is such an obvious mistake by the referees. I don't even know what the purpose of sending it is. Oh, my God, well, yeah, we missed that rule.
Well, they're not going to go back and play it again.
Yeah, they're not going to play it over again.
If officiating were so good and so flawless, we would not have replay.
Yes.
We have replay because we understand that there is human frailty in making these calls. I tend to agree with you that this is the coach at, I don't know, SMU, nobody cares about it. But because it's Saban, I'm going to confess a prejudice. I mean, I think when Saban and Urban Meyer and Bob Stoops all lose on the same weekend, it's a national holiday because they are contemptuous of the media, and that's always bothered me. But the guy's a coach. This is what you do. In the years that the Redskins were great, when Joe Gibbs coached them, when they went to 4 Super Bowls and won 3 in about an 8 or 9 year period, Park Avenue couldn't stand it because he sent the stuff in every single Monday. They said, are you kidding? Are you kidding? You're so good. But I've been told 1,000 times that that was standard operating procedure because a coach wants to make sure that his team, it's being officiated fairly.
I want to be clear, though. This isn't me calling Nick Saban a whiner. But I do want to make this point. Alabama's just not as good as it used to be. What's Ole Miss doing scoring this many points on an Alabama team, defense, and with that much talent? Why can't Alabama find its quarterback? That they've never had great quarterback play. Nick Saban, again, this isn't why he sent that in, but he's struggling right now. I think he's lost his footing a little bit, the Alabama program in college football, and he's struggling. Still going to send him to play in and complain. But, Tony, the John Jay High School referee assault saga may be at its end. Mac Breed, the assistant coach who allegedly advised his players to attack a referee, has resigned his position. The 2 players will attend an alternative school for 75 days and then be allowed to return to John Jay. You satisfied with the punishment?
The big thing to me is the assistant coach. I don't think kids would do that on their own. I always thought they had to be told to do that. And an assistant coach, if he did that, to me, he cannot be allowed to coach again. And if you want to hire him within the next 5 years, let's say, not forever and ever, but within the next 5 years, so you have to have a show cause circumstance like that. Now, having said that, those kids knew it was wrong. They knew it was wrong. I understand the dynamic. You do more than I, but I understand the dynamic of high school football players and high school coaches. But the real courage there would have been for them to say, no, we're not going to do this because we know in our hearts it's wrong.
I agree with the punishment. Coach removed and resigned. He's out of the picture. Kids being put out of school and allowed to return. The punishment, I think, has been appropriate. I don't think the lessons have been learned here. That's what troubles me about all of this. I've seen an attorney on television with the kids. I've seen excuses thrown out and the reputation of the referee besmirched by allegations that may or may not be true. I tend to believe the referee did nothing wrong. What I have not seen, and maybe I've overlooked it, I haven't seen the head coach out in front on this talking and explain to me, because when you coach a football team, you don't just coach the kids, you coach the assistant coaches too. And I want to know what kind of coaching he's doing with his assistant coaches that this guy's doing this kind of stuff. And the other group that I haven't seen, and maybe I've overlooked it, I haven't seen any parents. I saw a lawyer sitting on TV with kids. I would have preferred to see a parent there saying, you know, my kids were out of line here, and we won't tolerate this, and we're not going to tolerate any excuse making, regardless of what happened with the referee. There's a proper way. If the referee was out of line, there was a proper way to handle him. Taking him out was not the right way.
Let us take a break, but coming up, we will ask Ron Jaworski how the Cowboys are supposed to survive without their top offensive stars.
We'll also have him break down why the Jets suddenly look so good.
You know, the only thing I could think of is it's possible that a superintendent in the schools would have gone to a head coach and said, you have to be quiet. But for the parents, I don't understand that.
I don't get it.
You'd like to see a parent out there.
Yeah.
Football's back, and it already feels like the playoffs thanks to 1 Week Fantasy at DraftKings.com. With millions of dollars in prizes being paid out each week, every play in every game could take you closer to a life-changing payday. Hurry to DraftKings.com now. Use promo code PARDON and play for free with your first deposit in this Sunday's $1 million fantasy contest. This isn't fantasy as usual. This is DraftKings. Welcome to the big time. Enter PARDON for free entry now only at DraftKings.com. That's DraftKings.com.
Let's get back into the NFL with the man who quarterbacked the Eagles back when they actually had an offense that went forward instead of backwards. Our good friend Ron Jaworski. Jaws, we'll start with this. Everyone is predicting doom for the Cowboys offense. I know I am. But what are you seeing on their defense?
Well, number one, they play with great discipline under defensive coordinator Rod Marinelli. They know how to play their gaps and play their responsibility. Yeah, that's one thing, but you have to have players. Now, I love to use the term splash plays, and if you want to see splash plays, follow number 50, Sean Lee, their outside linebacker. I watched both games the Cowboys have played, and he makes all kinds of splash plays, and none bigger than the third quarter. You know, the Eagles are marching down the field. They're down 13-0. They're going to score. They throw a little bubble screen, you know, out in the flat. You think Josh Huff's going to score. Well, out of nowhere, here comes Sean Lee, makes the tackle. Well, saves a touchdown. Lo and behold, 3 plays later, makes an interception back in the end zone to thwart that drive. So, yes, they play with great discipline, but they also have a great player in Sean Lee.
Jaws, the Raiders beat the Ravens. What did that look like on tape? Was that a fluke or is that for real?
No, it was Jason. It was not a fluke. I was pleasantly surprised by the way the Raiders played offense, particularly Derek Carr. You know, here's a quarterback in his second year, and when I studied him last year, I saw a quarterback with a big upside. He was conservative last year, which he should be as a rookie, but this year, I mean, this guy has made significant improvement. And when I look at quarterbacks, I like to see how they handle the money down, third down, and how they handle blitzes. And the Ravens, as we all know, have a tremendous blitz scheme under defensive coordinator Dean Pease. Well, it didn't bother Carr. Against the blitz, he was 6 for 8, 120 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Now, when he did make a mistake in the game in the fourth quarter and did throw an interception, not against the blitz, he rallied his team back after falling behind 33-30, took him 80 yards to win the game. That says a lot about what is in Derek Carr's heart and his belly. Very impressed with Derek Carr.
Can I stay with that for a second? Because what
Sure.
does that say about the Baltimore Ravens then? They got shredded 2 weeks in a row, right?
Yeah, I would be concerned about the Baltimore Ravens. They have not played well on either side of the football, so John Harbaugh has some work to do.
All right, let's move to Carson Palmer. He's thrown 7 touchdowns against just 1 interception. He's about 50 years old, so we didn't expect this. When you look at him on tape, what does the tape show you?
Well, he's only 35 years old, and you are correct. He has thrown 1 interception, and actually it was a batted ball by Jared Allen. So clearly, Carson Palmer is playing very well. Behind an offensive line, by the way, that's not playing very well. They'll get a lot better when Mike Iupati and Bobby Massey come back. But I'm seeing Carson Palmer at 35 look like a guy that's 25. He is reading the coverage very well. He's making accurate throws. He's avoiding the pressure of that makeshift offensive line. And, oh, by the way, Larry Fitzgerald has come to life. He looks like a 20-year-old wide receiver, not a 32-year-old wide receiver. And I did mention a moment ago when talking about Derek Carr, the importance of the money down, 3rd down. That's when Carson Palmer is at his best. 10 of 16, 140 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. If Carson Palmer stays healthy, the Arizona Cardinals will contend for the Super Bowl championship.
Jets are 2-0, just took apart Andrew Luck and the Colts. They play the Eagles. What's going on with Todd Bowles and this defense? Are they for real?
Yeah, they are. They are absolutely for real. And Todd Bowles, cut his teeth in this league on defense. He played defense with Tony's Washington Redskins.
Yeah.
He's been coaching defense, his entire life. And right now, the New York Jets have the most creative defense in the National Football League under Todd Bowles. They certainly have great talent, but it's also creative. And it was on display Monday night on our Monday Night Football telecast. All of a sudden, here comes a blitz. And they blitz just a little bit under 50% of the time. They love to bring 3rd-level defenders, safeties, defensive backs. They've done that 18 times, twice as much as any team in the NFL. So they bring all these blitzes. Monday night, all of a sudden, look, here comes Buster Screen. He's coming off. Oh, he got a clean shot at Andrew Luck. Oh, I look at who's dropping out. Leger Duzabel dropping into coverage. All of a sudden, Andrew Luck has nowhere to go with the ball. Interception. That's what this creative defense does. It rents space in your mind and forces mistakes. Right now, the Jets defense playing as well as any in the NFL, and they have some secondary players that can cover.
All right, there's a game tonight. The Redskins are at the Giants, 1-1 against 0-2. Who do you like and why?
Well, I don't see the New York Giants going 0-3, so I'm going to go with the Giants 21-20. Eli last year played very well in 2 games against that Redskins defense, and certainly, he has not been great so far this season, but he's not turned the football over. But I like the New York Giants tonight.
What do you think, Jason? You like them too?
I do like the Giants tonight, but only because I don't think much of the Redskins.
Wait, just let me take that arrow out of my heart. Thank you for joining us, Jaws, as always.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Let's take one last break. Still to come, are the Raiders doing the right thing by painting their 50-yard numbers gold after all?
And a high school kicker gets a fortunate bounce.
What is this gold thing? What is this?
It's a celebration of the Super Bowl, 50 years.
And now, for Geico's edition of Stuff Found in Your Car, we go inside your side door pocket.
Hello, yes, the crumpled receipt with gum in it. From your anniversary dinner, you sprang for expensive wine, your server was Beth. That dinner was a couple $100. Money you could get back if you switched to Geico and saved hundreds of dollars on your car insurance. I bet you'd save that receipt. Frame it even. But really, where did I go wrong? Was it the corkage fee?
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com today.
Happy time, people. Happy 23rd birthday, Jack Sock. Mr. Sock has been referred to as the future of American men's tennis for approximately 5 years now. We wait with open arms for that future to become the present. Sadly, Jack Sock has only once reached the round of 16 in any major, but happy birthday.
Did you just bring up Jack Sock just to make fun of him on his birthday? This kid is from my neighborhood. He's from Overland Park, Kansas, Blue Valley North High School, and you're making fun of him.
I wanted to give you the opportunity to defend his honor, and you have done a spectacular job.
Fantastic young man.
Not so happy anniversary Green Bay Packers. On this day 3 years ago, the replacement refs totally botched the end of the Packers-Seahawks game, giving Seattle a game-winning touchdown. This was an absolutely terrible call. The only redeeming aspect of it was the nickname, the Fail Mary. Curiously, Seattle-Green Bay probably has become the #1 rivalry in the NFC.
thing I loved about replacement refs, they were just as bad as real refs, and we acted like the real refs were better. Now we know they're not.
You sound like Nick Saban, you know that.
I am Nick Saban.
Referee. Happy trails to this referee's hat. As if Texas high school football doesn't have enough controversy, this extra point attempt was low. It appeared to be a sure miss from Midland Lee High School, but serendipitously, it hit the referee in the bean, knocking his hat off, ricocheting off the crossbar, and good. Jason, you played a lot of football. Did you ever see anything like this?
I've never seen anything like this, but that is, if you want to get back at a referee, that's how you do it.
Kick him?
Fair and square.
Put the field goal kicker in the kick him?
He had a chance to dodge that ball.
Really? No errors today with one omission. Greg Holland lost the Royals' closer spot earlier this week. Today, he's out for the season with an elbow issue. I know the Royals are your team. What does this do?
It's a very big deal because that team was set up for a 6-inning baseball game. Then they get it to Kelvin Herrera, Wade Davis, and Greg Holland. Holland's out as the closer. This is a big deal strategically for the Royals, but I still have faith in Ned Yost.
So it doesn't take them out
Absolutely
of the World Series as far as you're concerned?
They made it all the way to World Series from wild card.
All right, let's go to the big finish. Here we go. The Raiders say they will paint the 50s gold after the end of baseball season. Your thoughts?
This is absolutely appropriate. As I said yesterday, the Raiders are a big part of Super Bowl history. Al Davis made it happen. They should.
Why weren't they going to do it?
Because they said it's a baseball field and they're waiting until the end of the baseball season. Julian Edelman's new nickname is Slotty Pippen. You like it?
Don't like it. Love it. Slotty Pippen is brilliant. Who gave him that nickname? That old laugh riot Bill Belichick?
Same person that gave me Big Sexy.
Really? Kevin Durant was named deputy publisher of the Players Tribune. How can he do that and play basketball?
Because he has this little playbook right here, the Big Sexy playbook, Tony, filled with quotation marks and quotations. Be quick, but don't hurt. That's one of me and John Wooden's favorites.
Fabulous.
The Pirates clinched a playoff spot for the third season in a row. Like their chances?
Well, if they beat the Cubs, Wilbon's head will explode when they go on in the playoffs to meet the Cardinals. Last one, college football tonight, Cincinnati, Memphis. Who do you like?
I think I like Cincinnati.
You sure? No. We're out of time. We'll try and do better next time. I'm Tony Kornheiser.
And I'm Jason Whitlock. Thanks for watching. Check out the PTI podcast on iTunes.
Charles Newman of Austin, Texas. Shout out. Golf partner. Like it.
Martez Hester. Ball State football.
Ball State.
PTI. This is Lori Grenier. You've seen me on Shark Tank. I'm always hearing from business owners who just can't get the money they need to grow. It's time for funding to catch up to the 21st century. It's time for Cabbage. Fill out the application online and you'll get a decision in minutes and could have access to a line of credit of up to $100,000. No waiting, no hassle. Cabbage is the real deal, A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and twice a Forbes Top 100 company. So go to Kabbage.com. That's Cabbage with a K, Kabbage, or call 888-CABBAGE.
The Pirates and Cardinals have the best two records in baseball, and they go head-to-head one final time this regular season. Could this be a preview of next week's division series? Coverage begins Wednesday at 6:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio.